I'll make it simpler for you.
Yeah, but
I'll make it very...
No, because you focus
no.
on all the nations.
But I will make it very simple for you.
Yes.
Give me one historical claim in the Quran that's true. One historical claim.
Okay.
I can give you many from the Bible. I can just give you one. So I'm saying give me one historical claim before the time of Muhammad that we can verify. Out of all the stories in the Quran, you should be able to give me one.
Before the time of the Prophet?
Yes. That people consider a historical fact.
Okay.
Because if it's from God, the stories in the Quran are based on history.
Listen,
so I'm saying, because remember what was my claim?
I know exactly where you're going
no,
to. I know exactly where you're going to.
No, you see, you're about to divert.
No,
and this is
I'm not diverting. I will explain you
why.
why.
Go on.
I know exactly where you're going to because
Explain.
whatever I'm going to give you,
no.
you understand that was already available. If I talk about Babel and the Tower of Babel or Babylon,
yes.
you can say, okay, listen.
Right.
You can say probably that this was already available in the Bible, whatever. And even if there's a claim in the historical event that was true, it doesn't necessarily back up the fact that this is revealed by God.
Okay.
That's the problem that you're approaching. I think.
So you basically know that there's an issue. For example,
there's no issues.
Who built the Kaaba? Who built the Kaaba according to the Quran?
Abraham.
Is that a historical claim?
Well, that's a claim in the Quran. Yeah.
Is there any Jew or Christian or anyone on the planet or the earth apart from Muslims who believe that?
I don't know for the Jew. I know the Christian not.
Right. Okay, so my claim would be, you're telling me the Quran claims that Abraham built the Kaaba, and even though we have thousands of years of Jews, thousands of years of Christians, not one of them was aware that Abraham built a Kaaba in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Do the Jewish knew everything that Abraham did in his life? Do they know everything?
Well, if the Quran claims that Jews are doing pilgrimage to this place since the time of Abraham,
Jewish.
What? So are you telling me what was who did pilgrimage to the Kaaba?
It says that Abraham built this house for Ishmael and his and this was a place for worship.
Exactly.
But he did not say it was for himself.
But exactly.
This was a place for worship.
For who?
I can create a mosque here and a mosque on another place.
A place for worship for who? The descendants of Ishmael?
For the God of Israel, the God of Abraham.
But who went to the Kaaba to worship?
The first to worship was...
but afterwards...
Ishmael, his descendants.
So the Ishmael would be the Arabs?
And they became pagans.
Wait. The Ishmaelites would be the Arabs, yes? No, okay. Can you give me... Wait. No, you've busted yourself. I'll tell you why. Okay. Can you give me evidence from pre-Islamic writings from the Arabs that they went to the Kaaba to worship the God of Abraham? Their own claim.
Okay.
So if you're telling me that the Kaaba was built by Abraham for the Ishmaelites descendants, and you're telling me even the Arabs did not write their own history, or there is no folklore saying that Ishmael was the forefather of the Arabs, how can you then tell me that it's historical?
No. I know you're playing a game.
No.
Because you try always to say, you can't back up historically. You can't back up even 5%.
I said, give me one historical claim.
Listen.
I said one historical claim, not 5%,
like
one.
All the books which are revealed, you can't even back 5% on the Torah or even on the Bible. 5% has been... Listen. You can't... Listen.
Let me show you evidence.
Listen.
I'm going to show you evidence.
Let me finish.
I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm listening. I said to you, you can't back up all the claims that are done in the Bible. Like I'm saying, I'm saying to you, this was prior by the time of Abraham. Like we're saying, the son of Ishmael became after that paganist. They started to worship idols.
What was my question?
Your question was, do we have a proof that were they worshipping the God of Abraham? They were worshipping, they say, Allah. We have in our own tradition that they were worshipping Allah as the only true God. They didn't refer to Abraham, whatever, as the creator. As the creator. And this one as an pre-Islamic tradition. This one we have. But they were worshipping other gods besides.
So, my question was, can you provide me evidence that the Arabs said they did pilgrimage to the Kaaba that was built by Abraham? And you've confirmed that there wasn't. Now, you asked me about biblical archaeology. Now, We have the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have the priestly amulet.
What is the Dead Sea Scrolls?
The Dead Sea Scrolls was just
I know what it is, but explain.
The Dead Sea Scrolls.
In which way does it confirm historical?
Because I'm saying in terms of the manuscripts of the Bible.
Okay.
But I'm just going to go through some of them.
Yeah, but these ones.
No problem.
Yeah, but these ones are not
that's
all.
That's fine. Yeah, but look, I'm showing you all the evidence I have because I have evidence. So I'm showing. I'm just going. Let's not.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So we have the priestly amulet.
What is it?
So uncovered in 1970. This was. Is a blessing known from the Book of Numbers dating to the 6th century BCE. It is the oldest copy of any biblical text ever.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
So I'm just going to go through.
Containing part of the priestly blessing known from the Book of Numbers.
Yeah.
So you got just an amulet.
Yes. But it's historical.
Just an amulet.
That's right.
With the writing of the Bible.
Yes, but I'm going through the archaeological.
I never claimed that these books haven't been written before that date.
Yeah, but I'm just going through. I'm just going through.
So they are not historical evidence. They are not historical evidence.
Yeah, let's keep going through.
Okay?
Let's keep going through. So, okay, this one, the Ekron inscription. It provided the final proof of the location of the biblical Ekron. So the Bible is making claims about. Locations. This is location. This is about Caiaphas.
Okay, hold on. What is this inscriptions? Was found on this foundation of Philistine temple, honoring the goddess. Okay. Converted to the Hebrew language, and independent historical source.
So it talks about the Philistines because the Bible claims there was a people called Philistines. So we have evidence outside of the Bible that the Philistines existed, and we can see through this inscription. We have Caiaphas, who was the high priest. We have his ossuary. So we have. We'll get to.
Okay, so you can prove that the Philistines were
because we have outside evidence from the Bible that the Philistines existed.
Okay.
So we got more inscriptions. We've got. Let me get to something substantial.
All the tribes, most of the tribes that were referred to the prophet names.
Right.
We refers to these tribes.
Right. Let me give. Because remember,
did you listen to what I said? If that's what you want as a historical event,
yes.
The people that we refer as saying the prophet Ud and the different prophets refers as well to some. Nations that we have historical evidence about.
Yeah, but that's saying a person.
No.
You're saying there's a people. If there's a prophet called Ud, there was a nation called Ud. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, go on.
There was referred to their houses and how they were curving their house in the mountains.
Okay, show me the Quran passage, and then we can see if it's. What you're saying it is.
Okay, cool. There's no problem. But like I want to say, I'm just saying.
Because my statement to you.
Your claim was to back up historically for things in the Quran. You can do it in many occasions.
So I said, give me one. That's all. My original question was, give me a historical claim from the Quran that we can verify is true, and something that's not alluded to in the Bible, because that's easy. So, I'll give you one. We've got, for example, Pontius Pilate, an inscription, who obviously under Jesus. So we know Pontius Pilate was a real person. The Bible makes the claim that Pontius Pilate was a real person. We have outside evidence that he was a real person by the inscription. So that's what I'm asking for.
The people of Israel also rejected our messengers. We gave them our signs, but they turned their backs.
Okay, so which one?
They carved out dwellings in the mountains and lived in security on the mountains.
Okay, so who's the people of Hijra?
Hijras.
Yes. Yeah, so read out what it would say in the first, because this is just taken to. Okay, they go back. No, go back. Yeah, let me just read what that says.
There were people living around.
Okay, right. So that is a claim. Let's just say
tribe of Tammuz.
So I'm going to make that simpler.
Listen.
Wait,
to you, where are you coming from? What I want to say is.
But you're diverting from my.
I'm not diverting. I gave you an example, but I know exactly where you want to go.
Where do I want to go?
The problem is.
The thing is, it's going to go in that direction.
No.
Because you know yourself what I'm trying to say.
No.
But that's why you're diverting. You won't let me make my point.
That's not this, because I know you try to. You're not listening to me, and you want to go in a certain way.
It's going in that direction. Why? Because the direction was the reason why, and we're going to conclude.
Because I thought we were having a nice conversation.
Yes, but the reason why it's going in that direction.
Listen, you're saying statements. There were some statements.
Right.
Most of the historical heavens that we have in the earth,
right,
we have no record of it.
Right.
We don't know what Abraham did during his whole life. And we don't know what exactly Jacob did exactly during his life, or even what Jesus said everything during 30 years of preaching. Now what actually you're saying is, because you don't have other people claiming these things, then this is not historical, and then this is not reliable. But if you do find some people claiming the same things, then you copied it from them.
Where did I say that?
You said that especially for the Apocrypha.
I'm saying, yeah, exactly.
It's the same.
Why is it called Apocrypha?
I said Apocryphal.
Right.
He's been rejected, you said, because he was the father of the church.
Okay.
And they rejected those texts, but they have no proof that he hasn't been transmitted orally, because most of these books, exactly like Luke, they gather the information orally and they put it down.
But here's the problem. You accused Luke of not being there.
He said it himself. He said it himself.
You said, now you said that makes his claims unreliable.
No, I said this is not revealed by God because the Gospels itself are not 100% reliable. How can you explain that some verse has been added in the Gospels? Right. How can you explain it in the manuscripts?
Because you had, again, you're diverting.
No, I'm asking you now.
No, because this is why we've gone to how do we know it's reliable? A minute ago we were speaking about giving evidence of claims within the text that can be historically verified. You've gone back and circled back to how do we know whether this text should be in the Bible or not. That wasn't my question, because I said to you, if we have a claim from certain books and we want to substantiate beyond blind faith, the only way we can do that is to look at all the claims it makes and ask ourselves, are these claims historical or not? So the more historical claims we can put together with the faith aspect tells us this book aligns more with history. So what you're doing is, that's why I'm asking you, can you give me the historical statements made in the Quran that we can establish elsewhere? Then you've gone diverted and then said, how come we have a passage in the Bible and then sometimes they're not in the Bible? How do we resolve this?
Firstly, we were talking about the book of Luke, and I said to you a statement, okay?
Right.
You went back to the Quran and you asked me about what historical tribe that we can refer to by archaeological remains, so like proof.
Yes.
I gave you an example by Tammuz. Obviously, you're going to go for it. You're going to have a look at it. And then we came back to the book of Luke. You said you'd start talking to Luke. And I said to you, how, since we've been talking about the Quran, I said to you, you claim that this book has been written by someone guided by God.
Right.
And I said to you, how can you believe that this is preserved when verses has been added on the Gospels and are not present on the previous...
Again, if I'm saying how is it reliable, not whether it's inspired, the point goes back to the fact is, if a book makes a claim, if a book makes a claim from eyewitnesses, and we find that some of these things are historical, I showed you, for example, Pontius Pilate existed.
Otherwise, I would just take my history book and I would call it the Gospel.
But
it doesn't make sense
the
what you're saying.
We both have books which we believe are inspired by God. I can say I can use your example and say, well, I believe the Gospels was inspired by God, therefore it's true. Okay. That is your argument.
Listen,
no, let me finish. Your argument is the Quran is from God, therefore it's true.
Okay.
If I say that same standard to the Bible, then you'll say, well, how come this? You got this text, that text.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, let me just finish. Mm-hmm. My claim, because you're saying you would not accept if I said, I believe it's from God, therefore it's true. So you're asking about more substantial evidence. when you say that, you want me to accept that the Quran is true because it's from Allah. Because you've not given me any outside evidence to support it.
No, I said to you, if you want to discuss about the veracity of the Quran and the message of the Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's another subject. I said I believe the Quran being inspired by God. You did agree that not 100% of the things that we may find on the book, either the Quran or the Torah or the Gospels, may be checked or even find
empirical. Yes.
You can't find anything for 100% of the things.
Yes.
We made a statement about the prophet being in the nation. If you don't find any name of a prophet, so be it. Prove it is wrong, you can't. That's a matter of belief. You believe or you don't believe, that's it. You took it as being the Quran, that's part of the thousands of the verse in the Quran. I do believe of so. You don't believe it, that's fine. I said to you, we talk about the preservation of the Quran. We said that it was very limited to the structure, to the vowels. I said to you, how can you believe this is preserved, the Gospels are preserved, when you have some verses which has been added and doesn't exist in the old manuscript? And I just want the answer.
Again,
and
but what is your definition of preserved? Because wait. Okay, actually, sorry, let me answer that. First of all, that's why I said the beginning of the faith is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So therefore, if I'm looking at this claim made in the Bible, that's the first thing, the basis of the Christian faith. I said to you that the crucifixion and the death and resurrection, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ can be affirmed even outside of the Bible. This is why, one of the first reasons why I would believe this. The book claims to be from eyewitnesses.
It doesn't make sense. Sorry.
So I'm saying to you, if there's a claim that this book is inspired by God, and I find outside evidence that supports that there was, for example, a crucifixion, this for me then says that claim that they made that this happened is true. Now, if I go from the Bible, I'm asking you a question.
Tell me.
I'm asking you, what do you think is sufficient evidence to prove something is reliable?
Mate, you have no, I will tell you something.
Go on.
You just have faith.
No, you're not answering my question.
Listen.
No, I asked you a specific question. Please answer the question. I said, in your opinion, what makes something reliable? And give me your opinion, and then we can substantiate. Because wait, you're saying the Bible isn't reliable based on the evidence.
I would say something.
Thank you, bro.
Something would be reliable
right.
if textually, in terms of language, you have no reason to doubt that this hasn't been inspired. Even in that case, you don't believe that it hasn't been inspired. It's been guided.
What does that mean?
Okay, for example, you as the Lord, as Elohim speaks, you know, like in the Old Testament, when you speak all the prophets, when the Lord's,
So you're saying, if it says, I the Lord say, then for you, that is evidence it's from God.
Listen.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
okay.
I'm saying this is a matter of faith. Every single one brings his belief to whatever he wants, he gets convinced or he believes what he thinks is the truth.
Yeah, but you're not answering my question.
No,
I asked
you
rejected the evidence I gave you. Yes?
You're telling me the only reason why the gospel is so true is
let me
because
finish.
Let
me finish. You rejected even the Luke's account. So I'm saying to you a very clear question. What to you constitutes evidence that something is reliable, that something can be taken as reliable?
Something can be taken as reliable. You mean in transmission? In terms
I'm saying, what would you like to see from the Bible?
That's very broad as a question.
Look, I'm giving you evidence and you're rejecting it. So I'm saying,
Which evidence?
I'm saying we appealed to Luke. You said we can't trust it, basically.
I didn't say that. I said, my God, that's so simple, mate.
Right.
I said to you, mate, I didn't say that 100% of what he's saying is wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying when a Jude, if something, for example, if Jesus says,
yes,
so I has been sent by God or whatever.
Right.
If Jesus write these words, then we can say, okay, then the author has been given. And then we know that he's recognized by the whole nation.
No problem.
Okay.
All the manuscripts to find out what the base original text would say. Because if, for example, you have one manuscript, maybe someone didn't write the complete story. You have another manuscript here, someone wrote 3/4 of the story. You have a manuscript there, someone wrote all of it. You compare them all together, and then you can elucidate what was on the original text.
Okay, so for you the manuscript doesn't matter.
I just gave you an example.
No, you say you compare.
Exactly. So you don't have one single manuscript because things get rewritten. A manuscript doesn't last forever.
Okay.
Some get ripped. Some have scribal mistakes.
Some people had comments. And
exactly. So that's why your question doesn't make sense. Because I'm saying.
So what do you say to the Christian
right.
that received those verses that were initially comments and became part of the text?
Like what?
Some of the verses were comments on the march or the march.
Right. How would you know it's a comment on the margin?
Well, most of the Christian scholar, you can
There's your answer.
No, it's not my answer.
No, you've just answered your question because the fact that you know it was on the margins means that we have the evidence supports that. So whether you want to won't take it or not is up to you. But the fact is, you answered it because I said, "How do you know?" You said it was by the scholars. So meaning they've looked through the manuscripts, compared it, and they've noticed that. So that's what I just said to you. You look at the different manuscripts.
They did it
right,
but they did it long after. For the Christian that lived during this medieval period, they couldn't.
Right. So what about the original eyewitnesses?
If they took this verse as being from God, what do you say then to them?
They can, because in terms of their authority of their...
So the person who wrote in the... Okay.
Yeah. So what you have to understand is that even with the Bible, let's just say, I'm going to make a stillman your point. Let's just say there's fake stories within the attributes of Jesus. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. Most of those things do not actually contribute to the whole Christian belief.
That's what I'm saying to you. I don't want to go even in this kind of discussions.
So because that's why you're taking it all over the place. So that's why I said the belief, the Christian faith is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So now, if you want to bring something that contradicts if you brought a manuscript that said the crucifixion didn't happen, that is a bigger concern to Christians than one text saying John gave Adam something with his left hand and the other text saying John gave Adam something with his right hand. That doesn't contradict our faith. For you, you're trying to say, well, how can it be reliable? I'm saying to you, give me a manuscript that says that the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ did not happen. Give me a manuscript that says one of the big artifacts of our faith didn't happen. Then you have an argument to say, well, why should you believe this as reliable? Okay. What you're doing, like the stoning of the woman of adultery, let's say you don't take that as inspired by God. That doesn't change the Christian faith. I'm saying if you think it's a big problem, you have to bring something that substantially contradicts what we believe in. So that's why I said the stoning of the adultery woman, if you don't take it, it doesn't contradict the Christian faith. You can say it's not reliable. Whether you accept it or not,
it doesn't contradict the Christian faith.
Yes, because it's not a main doctrine is not built on that one verse.
Yeah, but the thing is, one verse is one verse.
Exactly.
So I'm saying, if these can be like that, what about others?
Right. So now, I'm glad you asked that, because now when I provide you the evidence that the Quranic manuscripts show the exact same thing, I want you to ask yourself the same question. How can the Quran be taken as reliable when we have different versions of the Quran? And that's why I said to you, read the Sana manuscript. I said to you...
You admitted yourself just over there that you were slight difference in volumes. You showed me...
Okay,
this is what happened. That's for the camera that you're doing it, mate.
This is what happened.
I think that's for the camera that you're doing it.
Wait.
You changed your speech from there.
No, I'm going to show you, because Siraj came. Siraj came, and I was trying to show you the evidence. I said to you the Sana pamphlet set, and then you changed the topic because I was going.
There is no such verse.
All right.
That wasn't in the old.
All right. If I show you a verse now and give you evidence, what will you do?
No, I know what you're saying.
No.
I know why you tried to corner me.
Right, listen. But you said it doesn't exist.
No, I'm
how
saying
can I corner you?
I haven't heard of any
of this. Okay, I'm going to show you. Right. Because Siraj came and interrupted.
And I said to you that there is the old tradition and we have some manuscripts.
Old tradition cannot be proven, and I'm saying you the empirical evidence we do have contradicts the oral tradition.
Can be truly proven because we have the same madrasa that we have 1,400 years ago.
No.
What do you mean no?
I'm going to show you everything you say. I'm going to show you something that contradicts.
Cool. But mate, you cannot make a claim on the. I'm just saying, cannot make a claim on the Bible saying this is substantially from God because there's historical evidence that is correct, mate. Because I'm telling you, you will be in deep problem. And
okay.
Again,
here's from. Do you want from the Hadith? Will you accept the Hadith?
It depends which hadith. Okay. Is that Sahih?
Yeah, this one is Sahih Muslim.
Even though it's a Sahih, it's not because it's in Sahih Muslim that it's Sahih.
Well, you can check the chain yourself.
Okay, let me just.
You can take a picture, just check it at home. Because that's why they call me Paperboy, I bring in the receipts. And I want you to find me that verse in the Quran. And that's why I said to you.
Maybe just However, that's not the first time I heard this kind of hadith. Just to let you know.
No, it's not. It's not a claim by Christians. It's
no.
So I'm saying
that's in the traditions like that, but this is not the first time. Let me just.
Okay. So I ask if you accept it or reject it, on what grounds? Because.
What ground?
Because this is why I always bring evidence. Because people will claim, oh, these things didn't exist, or Muslims have been lied to about preservation, and I know
it's not lying to me. I made my own research, mate.
Well, you did. I'll show you more.
I heard already this kind of hadith.
So do you agree that verse is not in the Quran of today?
Listen.
And I'll read it for the audience.
Do not practice, and that is recorded in your notes as a religious history.
Yeah, and I'll read it out just for people who are watching so they can research this themselves.
Let me just take it.
And I'll give you some time to think about your answer.
Okay, cool.
Right, and I'll just so people who are watching, it says, this is Sahih Muslim 1050, and it says, we used to recite a surah which resembled in length to 70 to Surah Barat. I have, however, forgotten it with exception of this, which I remember out of it. If there were two valleys of full riches for the son of Adam, he would long for a third valley, and nothing would fill the stomach of the son of Adam but dust. And we used to recite a surah which resembled one of the surahs or Musabahir, and I have forgotten it, but I remember this much of it. O people who believe, why do you say that which you do not practice? And that is recorded in your necks as a witness against you, and you would be asked about it on the day of resurrection. We do not find that one in the Quran. And I'll give you one more hadith. This is from Sunan Ibn Majah, 1944. It says, it was narrated that Aisha said the verse of stoning and breastfeeding an adult 10 times was revealed, and the paper was with me under my pillow. When the messenger of Allah died, we were preoccupied with his death, and a tame sheep came in to eat it. So there's more, because what Muslims will say is that verse is abrogated.
Yes.
But it was replaced by a verse of 5 sucklings. So this one was 10. So this one's breastfeeding 10 times, but it was reversed with a verse of suckling 5 times, which is what. So this one, for argument's sake, I will say, because that's what Muslims say, it was abrogated. However, there's a verse, and I'll show you the hadith. It was replaced by a verse of 5. And that's the one we cannot find.
I'm saying to you, since you know already about the abrogation, at the same time, if you're taking some hadith like that, there is as well loads of scholars, many scholars, that claim the non-authenticity of this hadith, because this is singular.
But listen to what I said. This hadith, the Islamic narrative is this one was abrogated. Right, so I'm not. That's what you're appealing to. I'm saying no.
You said there's another narration.
No. I said this was this verse was replaced by another verse of 5 sucklings.
Okay.
So that
where do you see it?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Okay, cool.
So that's why this one I'm not going to make an argument, because that's what Muslims do.
Show it. And by the way, the hadith of the Muslim that you're mentioning is as well abrogated.
Is abrogated?
That's what he says.
How was it abrogated? Can give the explanation, because remember the Quran says we have to repeat, we will replace it with something better or cause it to be forgotten. So show me where it meets one of those criteria that your prophet forgot it.
What do you mean forgot it?
Yeah, so what is the criteria for abrogation?
Well, the verse is talking about abrogation, bringing something equivalent or something better.
So what is the equivalent or better that it was replaced by?
I'm just saying that this verse...
You can't appeal without evidence. That's what I'm saying. You're saying it was abrogated. I'm saying substantiate that claim with evidence. Because what people do, if they say, oh, it's not there, oh, it was abrogated. No, we're actually showing you the evidence that things were... Because if you're reading what the scholar says, he should be able to explain why it was abrogated or replaced with something better. Because that's why I'm using your own criteria against the Bible to say if that's what you believe, then apply that same standard to the Quran.
Yeah, but the thing is, in terms of transmissions, everything that is transmitted mutawatir, and especially something which is ahad, cannot go against something which is transmitted generally as mutawatir. That's a principle.
It's a claim, but we want substantiation.
I would say you find loads of things in the hadith.
That's the same way you said to me, how can we, well, you asked me so much about Luke. I'm asking you, I didn't say, because if I said Luke said it's true, you will say no. So because you're saying it's mutawatir, one substantiate that with evidence, not just a claim I should believe.
Mutawatir means something which is so much widespread.
But I said there was eyewitnesses. You said that is not sufficient.
No. You said, I didn't say that. I just said that you claim that the book of Luke was from God, and you can substantiate it because there's a historical event which was the crucifixion.
Can you substantiate the mutawatir of that?
The mutawatir of what?
You said if it's mutawatir.
Yeah, the Quran, the transmission of the Quran, as I said to you, there's the oral transmission, and we have as well the text. You admitted yourself that in all the manuscript that we have, there was slight variance, and you showed me the screenshots from the experts, and the difference was very small.
This is the same Islamic scholar. You search his name, don't take my word on it. But this is what the scholars say. So it says there is no evidence. I've just taken screenshots.
Yeah, but okay.
So you can research it for yourself.
We have our own.
Exactly, a claim that cannot be evidence. That's what I'm saying.
You're using the, how do you say, the Orientalist method. You're Orientalist.
Orientalist. What's wrong with the Orientalist?
Listen. You're using these own methods because they reject our tradition.
Right.
Listen. All the tradition, all the transmission that we came with the Quran, which is mutawatir, all of this, they are not accepting those claims or those transmissions.
So is your transmission based on evidence or blind faith?
It's not blind faith.
So why do the Orientalists not agree with it?
They don't take the transmission which was given by their own religion. It's the same way that they don't...
No, they only accept empirical evidence. That's what historians do.
Okay.
So when you make a claim...
Listen, empirical evidence in the same way, they say that there's no historical evidence that Abraham existed.
Oh, this is the claim I was making. This one. About the Sana manuscript.
Anyway, you show me this comparison that we have been doing the manuscript, and we saw this was completely minor.
No, but listen to read what it says. There's big differences is what I'm saying. When you go home... Don't take my word on it. I'm saying to you, don't take my word on it. Just research.
I did already my research. I know that you may find some slight difference in the pronunciation, but again, in the manuscript compared to the manuscript, again, the oral transmission. This is something which is observed in whole the nation, the Islamic nation, through all the mosques.
So you don't have any. All your evidence is trust me, bro.
Mate, it's not trust me.
So how can I substantiate oral transmission?
It's the same when they're coming and they're telling you, how do we know that from the time of Jesus to that time, all the gospel has been transmitted correctly.
Yeah, but I'm asking you about the
No. I'm telling you because you're doing a double standard.
No, I'm doing a double standard because you're the one who threw the accusation at me. So I'm throwing the same accusation back to you to say substantiate what you believe, what you're claiming.
No. I said to you, we have clear evidence.
Which is what?
We have clear evidence that that firstly in Luke claimed not to be inspired by God, but he said that he gathered the historical information.
And you said we can't trust it.
Listen, no, I didn't say you can't trust it. I just said this is not infallible. It can be, you can have some false information and you can have some right information.
Okay.
And I said to you, in the manuscripts that you have nowadays, or even during the medieval age, some of the verse doesn't exist on the old manuscript.
Right. And I've given you examples where there's verses in the Quran that existed that don't exist now, and you said they were abrogated. No. That was your excuse.
No. That's not my excuse. You admitted yourself.
If I said to you they were abrogated, you wouldn't have accepted that. You would say, but look, there's variations in the manuscript. I can appeal to say, well, that's how God intended it to be. That's what you're giving me.
No. You're using some of the hadith that we have from our own heritage.
Yes.
Saying that some of the verses has been abrogated.
It didn't say it's abrogated.
Huh?
It didn't say it's abrogated. It said he couldn't remember it.
No, he said some of them couldn't remember it.
Right.
But it wasn't part of this because there was all the others. Explain me this. The person said, I can't remember it.
Right.
And there's all the other Sahaba. They learned the Quran as well.
Right. So if they learned all the Quran, why did Uthman burn all the Qurans?
Because there were new Muslims coming in.
Pardon?
There were new Muslims coming in, and the population of the Muslims began to rise, and there were non-Arab-speaking Muslims coming into Islam. So he had to.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Go ahead. So
I said to you, listen, the same way that you were talking about the manuscript and the slight changes and the vowels and the way to pronunciate it, in the same way. He collected the Quran and all the manuscripts, the papers that was here and there of different surah. Instead of having spread out, he just gathered everything in one mushaf and he sent different copies in the empire. In that claim, you're just putting suspicions on what he did. Look what he did.
But this is the point.
He's hiding something.
But this is the point. Why didn't he send out a hafiz? Why did he send out a manuscript? If the oral tradition is so important, even more reliable than the textual transmission, he would have sent out a hafiz. You don't need to write down the Quran if it's a recitation.
You're the first proof of people. You're the answer to your question. You're someone that is ready to find any text, any manuscript, and coming and say, look, there is a difference in pronunciation. Well, you admitted that there was very slight. So I'm saying.
But let me clarify. Let me just clarify. But let me clarify my point.
Let me just finish.
You're misquoting
I finish. I said to you, Uthman had different papers, different surah split it. It wasn't books. It was surah split it here and there. It's like, for example, having the chapter 5 of Luke, chapter 1 of Luke spread it. And there was as well all the people learning Quran by orally, He just burned all these papers and he gathered everything.
Let me clarify because you misquoted me. And are you aware some of the companions had different numbers of surahs in their own codex of the Quran? Ibn Masud had 116 surahs.
But then they agreed together. They had a discussion.
So if every Quran is the same, how come he had 116 if they were all memorized the same?